How's it going, everyone? Adam here from Coding Basics, and welcome to tutorial number 2 in my HTML and CSS series. And in this video, I'm going to walk through with you guys how to make that very simple Hello World web page I displayed in the last video. So at this point, you should have Notepad++ installed, as well as some browser or multiple if you want to test it on multiple browsers. So let's open up Notepad++, and as you can see here, this is the web page that I ran in the last video just to show you how to run something from Notepad++. So once again, if you go to run, select which browser you want to run it in. I'm going to run it in Firefox, that's fine. And here's the web page I created. So I'm going to walk through with you today how to make a very simple web page like this one, a Hello World web page, as well as explaining what all this means, all these tags mean. So let's get started. I am actually going to go to my C drive where I have this located, which was in source. No, it was not. It was in web pages, my bad. Sorry about that. So in websites, tutorials, I have the web page there. I'm going to delete it and start from scratch with you guys. No, I don't want to keep this file in the editor. So once again, we are going to start by going to File, Save As. Wherever you want to save the file, go to there. Like where I just was, this tutorials folder is where I'm going to save it. So I'm going to call this Hello World.html. You can drop down here and select HTML, or if you type it in here, don't worry, it won't end up being a TXT. Notepad is smart enough to know that you want this to be an HTML. So, click save, and now let's get started. Just give me 1 second to pull up my notes. Okay, we're good to go. Now, the first thing we need to do is tell our browser that this is an HTML file. Now, this is done with a tag, very simple tag, and this tag's sole purpose is to let the browser know that this is HTML that it's receiving. So, how you do this, you have an open angled bracket, then you put an exclamation point, and then you have to say doc type. Now, you can do it in lowercase, you can do it in all uppercase, it doesn't really matter. It has to say doc type just like that, no spaces, nothing other than that. Now, if I close this angle bracket here, what the browser is going to think is that it is XHTML or HTML 4.01. So you can leave that there if you want, and a lot of the stuff that we're going to do in this series is going to still be valid. And that's where you're going to leave it if, say, the rest of, like, you know, you're working for a company and you're doing web design for them and everything else is in HTML4, well then, yeah, you better, you know, do this for that case. But since a lot of the stuff I'm going to be teaching you is for HTML5, how you specify that this is HTML5, after doc type you put a space and then just say HTML. Now that has to be the first line of every single HTML file that you write. Specifies to the browser, this is HTML, and just so you know, the version of HTML I'm using is HTML5. Alright, so that's the first line of every file we're going to do. Now next thing is you're going to have an opening and closing pair of HTML tags. Now, like I mentioned in the last video, an opening and closing pair, the only difference between the two is that the closing one has this / before the tag name. So we're going to have this opening tag HTML, a closing tag as well that says HTML, and everything in here is going to be our HTML file. Everything in between these two HTML tags is what's going to be displayed on our web page. Now, one other thing we're going to do, and it's not necessary, but I would highly recommend it, is language. Well, LANG for short, but it stands for language, equals, and in between quotations, we're going to put EN. Now what this is you can probably guess, it's specifying that the language of the content in this HTML page is in English. Now what is this used for? This is used for browsers as well as search engines to specify which language is here. Helps search engines find content, and a search engine like Google that has translation, it'll see that, okay, this is supposed to be in English, so at least it knows which language it's translating from. Now, that being said, I could obviously put that it's English and write French, just to be a troll, but you don't have to put that in. Just something you can put in, help search engines and browsers out. And the easier you make it to find your content, the more hits you're going to get on your website. So that is the HTML tag. Now next, we have two sets of tags that we're going to have to fill in. One is an open and closing head tag. So angle bracket, head, close angle bracket, open angle bracket, / head, close angle bracket. So there's the one. The next one is body. And here, same thing, except for body instead of head. Alright, now, up here is where you put information. This is your document header. So you put in information such as, the title of your web page, how it should be encoded. Can't really think of can't think of anything else off the top of my head, but there is other stuff you put in there. I just can't really think off the top of my head right now. And in here is where you put the body. So this is your main website content. That's all your text, all your buttons, all your images, all your videos, everything goes in the body. So one thing we're going to do first is we're going to specify the encoding for our web page. So to do that, open angle bracket, meta space, and then char set, and an equal sign, 2 quotation marks, and in here capital UTF-8, and then closing angle bracket. This is what I said was a single tag. So that means we only have one tag. It's not like, the head one where we have an opening and a closing tag. Now, we could just leave it like that, but good practice is to put a / before that last angle bracket. I'd highly recommend getting into that habit. It's a good one to get into. It just, it makes it easier when you're debugging your web page if something's going wrong. If you don't have that, then you might confuse that as being an opening tag. So that right there is just a good way to show this is a single tag. You're not going to find another reference to meta somewhere else down there as a closing tag. So yeah, just good practice to get into. Now the other thing we're going to put in here in our simple web page is the title. Now that is the title that shows up on the tab in your browser. So up to the top you have the tab, all your different tabs for all your different websites you have open. What title that it's going to display there. So we're going to have an opening and closing title tag. And inside there, whatever you want to put. So I'm going to put in this coding basics. Sure. That works just fine. That's a fine title if I do say so myself. And that's all we're going to be doing with the head. So we've specified here so far that we have an HTML5 document. Its language that everything's going to be written in is English. We're going to encode it using UTF-8. And the title of our web page is Coding Basics. Now, basically, whatever you want to put in here will be the content of your browser, like I said. Or not of your browser, of your web page. All I'm going to put in here is just something very simple. So I'm just going to say, hello world. That seems to be the default message in your first program or web page, no matter which language you're using. So we're going to keep with that theme. Now, you could put it just like that. Hello world, no tag surrounding it. Launch in Firefox is how I'm going to launch it. And as you can see here, our HTML file is open. It says hello world in the body. The title here says Coding Basics. That's pretty much all there is to show. It's a very simple web page. Now, another thing you can do is you can put a P tag around it. And I mentioned in the last video that a P tag is for paragraph. So, run, launch in Firefox. You'll notice it's no different whatsoever. But if I have here another one that says thank you for watching, oh, now we have two distinct paragraphs. So hello world, thank you for watching, and you'll notice that the paragraphs have a space in between each other, so that's just separating the two items. Two different paragraphs tags, you know, two different lines that they're on, and there's a space between the two of them. Now, what do you believe is going to happen if I remove these paragraph tags? Well, as you can see, since we don't have a paragraph tag there, it reads it all as one line. A lot of interpreters, a lot of compilers, they all get rid of blank space between, you know, lines. Or like, you know, if there was like a bunch of, you know, ton of blank space, it's going to get rid of all that blank space. So it reads this all as one line. That's why we use the two tags to separate the two of these lines. So that is just a quick Hello World webpage. Sorry if it was long and boring. I was going slow just because I know it is sometimes hard to code along with someone. So hopefully it wasn't too painfully slow. Hopefully, well, I don't think it would be too fast, but correct me if I'm wrong. Thank you guys for watching. That is all for this video. Please check out the next one. I promise it does get a lot more interesting than just a little bit of text on the screen. Now that you have a basic template in place, we're going to add some nicer looking content to our web pages from now on. So thank you guys for watching. Remember to leave a comment on this video, like the video, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.